Richard Rohr believes that life is divided into two distinct phases, which together form the spiritual journey of a person. In the first phase, an individual builds their identity and achieves external successes, helping to secure a container that holds their experiences and talents. In the second phase, once this external structure is complete, the person begins an internal transformation, where experiences that may seem like failure or falling become the starting points for deep spiritual growth. The two halves concept, the first half of life. This phase focuses on achievements, building social and professional identity, and forming a self-image based on worldly standards. The person integrates into societal demands, learning discipline and success through external experiences. In this phase, material successes and achievements provide a view of the self based on what others value: awards, positions, and professional triumphs. The second half of life. Once the external container is built, the person enters the stage of searching for deeper meaning. In this phase, they begin to reflect on the meaning of life, realizing that external successes alone cannot answer their existential questions. Experiences that seem like failures, such as loss or disappointment, are seen not as the end, but as a means to remove limitations and reshape the self on more realistic and profound foundations. The spiritual transformation journey. Rohr introduces the concept of falling upwards, reflecting the idea that negative experiences, although seemingly losses, provide an opportunity for the individual to rediscover themselves and grow spiritually. This idea mirrors the hero's journey in mythology, where the hero undergoes challenging adventures, faces failure and confusion, and returns with wisdom and new experiences that elevate their consciousness. Symbolic story introduction. An example is given of Alexander, a young man who began his journey surrounded by material successes and victories. Over time, he noticed that what he had achieved did not fill the inner emptiness he felt. When he faced an unexpected loss in one area of his life, he was forced to reevaluate his priorities. He began to delve deeper into contemplation and search for deeper meanings of life. His story embodies the central idea of the book, that apparent failure may mark the beginning of a true transformation, where pain and challenge serve as gateways to discovering the hidden treasures of the self. Chapter 1. Building Identity and External Success. The first half of life. The first chapter discusses how individuals go through a phase in youth where their external identity is formed through achievements and social and professional experiences. Rohr points out that while this phase is important for securing the container for experiences, it remains limited if the identity is based solely on worldly standards. Foundations of building identity. In this phase, individuals learn through education and upbringing. A person begins forming their self-image through education and interactions with family and social systems. The values and beliefs reinforced by society lay the foundation for future positioning. Practical achievements. Whether through academic success, career advancement, or building a social network, success is seen as evidence of competence and ability. Tangible achievements shape how society evaluates an individual's worth. Social interaction. Building relationships and participating in social activities help strengthen one's image in front of others, leading to a self-image based on external recognition. Pressures and expectations. In this phase, individuals are subject to social pressures, such as family and societal expectations. People are often pressured to meet certain success standards, such as obtaining a prestigious job or attaining high positions, which may restrict the freedom to express their authentic selves. Competition and self-proving. In a competitive environment, proving oneself becomes a necessity, leading to reliance on external values to gauge self-worth, often ignoring internal needs and spiritual growth. The changing nature of external success. While material and professional success gives a temporary sense of fulfillment, it remains superficial. It forms an external image that may hide many internal contradictions and emotional struggles. The gap between appearance and reality. Many people experience a gap between what they show others and what they truly feel inside, causing a sense of psychological emptiness. The symbolic story of John. To illustrate these ideas, we focus on the story of John, the start of the journey. John was born into a family that valued excellence and glorified success. He excelled in academics and sports from an early age. During his school years, he was constantly encouraged to achieve the best and was admired in his school environment. Entering the workforce and pressures. As John entered his professional life, he faced several challenges, including rising expectations and competitive relationships, which made him feel the pressure to continually prove his worth. The search for deeper meaning. Over time, despite his external successes, John began to feel a sense of emptiness. This led him to reflect on the meaning of his achievements. He started reading books on philosophy and spirituality and discovered that life carries deeper meanings beyond external recognition, and true self-identity required more than just material success. Lessons from John's story: the need for balance. There must be harmony between external success and internal growth. The importance of self-awareness. Reflecting on oneself and reviewing personal experiences opens the path to a deeper understanding of life's meaning. Experiences as a driver of growth. Even failure or feelings of emptiness can be a driving force for self-discovery and spiritual growth. Chapter 2. Transition to inner depth and overcoming illusions. As time passes, individuals realize that their worldly achievements, though essential for building identity, are insufficient to fulfill their need for real meaning. This chapter focuses on how individuals confront the limitations imposed by the first phase and begin the journey of searching deeply for their true self. The beginning of transformation. Roar invites individuals to enter a phase of gradual detachment from the identity built on external appearances. Shock and internal alienation. A pivotal moment often comes after personal loss or crisis, sparking deep questions about the worth of the path one has chosen. Breaking from the familiar. At this stage, the individual starts to feel that traditional success does not meet their spiritual needs, making the search for deeper meaning an urgent necessity. Psychological effects of this transformation. The person experiences inner turmoil as the self-images they've built collide with new experiences. Doubt about previous identity. Achievements that once held pride now seem like superficial decorations in the face of a larger existential question. Inner conflict. Internal struggles arise between what society imposes and what the heart feels, leading the person to reevaluate the meanings of success and happiness. The story of Emily, a deep transformation journey. Emily, who was once an example of professional and social success, faced a transformative event. Initial success. Emily had a stellar career in upper management, with vast social connections and respect from her peers. The critical moment, when Emily unexpectedly lost a loved one to a sudden illness, she lost faith in the worldly standards that had once defined her identity. The search for self. She began turning inward, engaging in periods of solitude, reading spiritual and philosophical books, and discovering that life's meaning transcends societal metrics. Lessons from Emily's story. Releasing appearances. There must be willingness to let go of previous self-images, even if they were the source of material success. Strength in vulnerability. Painful experiences can carry the seeds of strength and growth when used as opportunities for learning. Searching for inner peace. True success lies in achieving a state of self-acceptance and peace, rather than relying on external recognition. Chapter 3. Failure as a teacher and catalyst for growth. In this chapter, Rohr emphasizes that failure should not be seen as a loss, but rather as an essential part of the learning and personal growth process. Failure is reframed as a critical event that helps unlock an individual's potential. Redefining failure. Failure as an educational experience. Rohr shows that negative experiences and failures teach lessons that successes cannot offer. Opening new horizons. Failure offers a chance to dismantle rigid identities built in the first phase, allowing more flexible and human aspects of the self to emerge. The psychological impact of failure. Failure leads to initial breakdown. The person may feel lost and weak at first, but this phase is necessary for rebuilding the self. Prompting reevaluation. Failure motivates deep reflection and reassessment of traditional measures of success, paving the way for a more authentic self-identity. Michael's story. Transformation from failure to rebuilding the self. Michael's journey illustrates how failure can become a positive turning point. Professional success and superficial achievement. Michael quickly rose in his career, becoming known for his intelligence and hard work. Facing failure. At one point, Michael lost his job unexpectedly due to circumstances beyond his control. This left him questioning his worth and abilities. Rebuilding. Rather than giving in to despair, Michael used failure as an opportunity for self-reflection and reevaluating his path. He re-engaged in studying his field and developed new skills, eventually finding a career that aligned more closely with his true passions. Lessons from Michael's story. Failure is not the end of the path. It is a stage that can reshape the identity to be more in harmony with the true self. Learning from mistakes is essential. Each negative experience carries a lesson that aids in developing adaptability and creativity. Determination rebuilds. Persistence and psychological flexibility are key to overcoming obstacles and achieving personal growth. Chapter 4. Rebuilding Identity and Connecting with the Deep Self. In this phase, the individual transitions into a deeper internal work, gradually letting go of identities built on external achievements and exploring a more profound and essential self. This transformation is the cornerstone of attaining inner peace and liberation from psychological constraints. The journey of self-discovery. Roar emphasizes the importance of contemplative and spiritual practices to connect with the deep self and reorder priorities. Breaking free from old constraints. This phase requires letting go of old stereotypes and reconciling with experiences, whether positive or negative. Elements of internal reconstruction. Reevaluating values. The individual begins to examine the values they lived by in the past and decide whether they still serve them today. Connecting with the self. Internal connection and honesty with oneself become the foundation for exploring hidden meanings, thus building an identity beyond just external standards. Spiritual practices. Activities like meditation, spiritual writing, and philosophical readings are powerful tools in this deep transformation. Sarah's story. Discovering the self through meditation. Sarah, once known for constantly seeking social recognition and material success, discovered a deeper sense of self. The previous path. Sarah worked in business, her life filled with achievements that earned her admiration. Turning point. Sarah began to feel that superficiality and routine only provided temporary material satisfaction. The transformation journey. After personal struggles, she chose to step back and dedicate time to inner reflection, reevaluating her values. Lessons from Sarah's story. Inner change starts within. Reconnecting with the self through contemplation creates significant internal peace. Liberation from external constraints. Rejecting full immersion in worldly success allows for a more authentic and balanced life experience. Investing in personal experiences. Every experience in life, whether painful or joyous, contributes to forming a deeper and more authentic identity. Chapter 5. Life is a renewed vision and a continuous journey of growth. The book concludes with a renewed human perspective that views life as a dynamic and ever-changing system, where no stage is an absolute end, but rather a continuous journey of learning and renewal. In this chapter, Roer emphasizes that every experience, whether a success or failure, contributes to forming a more comprehensive image of the self. 1. Philosophy of renewed life. Life as a non-linear path. Roer highlights that the spiritual path is not a straight line, but rather a curve filled with challenges and transformations. Continuous learning. Every stage of life brings new lessons, keeping a person in a constant state of development. Flexibility in dealing with time. Past experiences turn into elements from which wisdom is gathered, enabling an individual to face the future with greater confidence. The importance of experiences and the cycle repetition. Life cycles. Human life goes through cycles of ups and downs, and each cycle contributes to enhancing the ability to renew oneself. Learning from the past. Past experiences, no matter how painful, serve as a guide to moving steadily toward the future. Change as the essence of life. Roer sees change as an essential element of existence. Surrendering to stagnation means losing the opportunity to learn and grow. David's story, a journey of maturation and continuous transformation. David's story offers a practical example of how to navigate life's fluctuations. Beginning the journey. David was a very successful young man, excelling academically and professionally. He was able to build a strong identity that was recognized by his peers and family. But he did not realize that this identity was only the beginning. Facing fluctuations. As time went on, David faced a series of personal and professional challenges. He went through a period of emotional breakdown due to the pressures of life and fierce competition. External achievements gradually faded, forcing him to confront the reality that the image he had built of himself no longer stood firm in the face of life's fluctuations. Renewal and growth. David used his previous experiences as lessons for learning. He began to reassess his values and priorities. He invested time in introspection and reevaluating his true goals, free from societal pressures. Thanks to this inner transformation, David found peace in rebuilding himself in a more flexible and sustainable way. Lessons learned from David's story. From David's story, we learn that true growth is ongoing. No stage can be final. Each experience carries the potential for self-renewal. Challenges shape character. Fluctuations and difficulties are merely tools that help build a more realistic and mature personality. Renewal is the key to life. The ability to accept change and reshape one's identity over time is what empowers a person to face the future with confidence. Conclusion. Reaffirming the integrated spiritual journey. The book concludes with a comprehensive vision that life is not just a series of worldly achievements, but an ongoing spiritual journey made up of two interconnected phases. The outer phase. In this phase, the individual builds their vessel through successes, achievements, and relationships that are measured by societal standards. The inner phase. This phase marks the time for self-confrontation, deep reflection, and the search for meanings of existence that transcend material boundaries. Key points in the conclusion. Spiritual transformation is not a straight goal, but a constant path. The conclusion emphasizes that experiences in every phase, whether positive or negative, form the foundation for maturity and growth. Failure and challenges are tools for growth. The experiences that may appear as failures on the surface carry valuable lessons, enabling the individual to gain deeper wisdom and develop inner resilience. The search for the self is an ongoing journey. The conclusion reveals that returning to the self and reassessing one's identity is a continuous process, requiring the courage to move away from the apparent ego and focus on the essence of being.